also the first Indian woman to be a country director. Imagine this, okay? We're talking of just one institution director. She was named country director. And she managed 8 projects, namely for UNICEF, USAID, and Australian Aid. And now with 40 years of experience in the field of education and management, and having traveled to 45 different countries, she considers herself to be a global leader, a global citizen, and definitely, I think she's a fantastic leader. So please put your hands for Parul Fernandes.
Meanwhile, let me thank Girish Bhai for those beautiful words. You know, I feel my heart pumping already. And we go on to see how I can be of some use to you today in transferring some of the knowledge and the experiences that I've had in the field. In the development of leadership, as you can see this sign here, I have put up a small sentence on the top which says how you see your world. And that's not in a straight line. Please notice that. It's purposely put in a little bit of an angle because everybody sees their world in a different angle. Everybody has to move that world a little bit differently every time. And so it was purposely put in that way. And I've taken it as a development of leadership. And my friend Mr. Pinaki has already given you a vibe of who the leaders are, what their qualities are, and things like that. So I will set the tone, but I, as a leader of my own class, I mean, I used to teach in India for 17 years and before I came to the States, and I've been here 30 years, so I practically work more than what my life should be, but I love it. And I'm going to tell you that today, it's a mission for the day. Please remember that it's a mission for the day. Today's day we have a mission and we are going to focus on 7 habits for the effective leadership, and we discover our own personal leadership strengths and weaknesses. Because not all of us are going to be the same. Not all of us even want to be the same. Not all of us should be the same. We have our own strengths, we have our own weaknesses, and I hope today's this thing will be able to discover that. And there are 7 habits of good, effective leaders that I'm going to focus on. So it is a mission for the day that I'm going to talk about. And in this day, you have to have some goal, basically. You should know why you are here. Okay, you're here to learn something. You learn some 7 habits. If you have one of the habits, if you don't have one of those habits, you'll be able to know it yourself. And then you can strengthen yourself, you can discover yourself. The next thing I want you to remember is that we have leaders. Mahatma Gandhi was a leader, and he came from a totally different background. He was a barrister at law. If you see his photographs, he was all bow-tied and all 3-piece suit and everything. And in the end, what do you see him? You see him as a humble man with linen cloth and with a little shawl. There was a terrific change. There was a complete, totally changed part of it. So how does that change take place from one aspect of your life to another? Okay? And those things happen because you develop habits. You create habits of your own. And those habits lead to the leadership that you make. You look at Indira Gandhi, for example. She had a different environment. She grew up with with Jawaharlal Nehru, with diplomats coming to her house with how to sit and how to eat. And she had a different political environment. And that environment which was built in her made her a leader. Okay? So there were different influences that everybody had in becoming leaders. If you look at Mandela, for example, it was in the prison that he got time to think about what his country needs and how he became a visionary after that. and he became a leader. So if you take every leader's life, you will find they did certain things and they built it on principles of certain kind. So I'm just giving you these 7 things right now, but we will go through this. You have had in front of you the questions. There's a page that you should have got in front of your, or if you didn't have one, there should be a blank page with you. So we are going to focus on these 7 habits, how you become proactive, which is a principle of personal vision. You begin with the end in mind. What do you really want to achieve? That's why I gave you the mission of the day. What do you want to achieve? Is the mission of the day, is what you want to achieve today. So that is why you have a mission today. What is the end of this whole conference? Or the end in mind for the future for you? Do you know where you want to go? Or do you want to take a day at a time? You know, what kind of mindset do you have? Then put first things first, the principles of personal management. How do you manage your life? How do you put things first? Is my family to be first? Is it, is my work to be first? You know, if the boss calls right when you're taking your family out, how are you going to manage that? Will you tell your boss no, or will you tell your family no? You know, these are things that keep coming in our minds when we have. Then you think win-win. You always want the opposite party to get something. Say you're a salesperson and you have your boss tells you, okay, this product is going to expire in 6 days, so you better sell it off immediately. How can I sell six truckloads of this expired project in 6 days? This is not possible. I'll have to go to look at options. So one option would be that you would have to spend more money if it expires in 6 days in the waste management, by sending it out to waste management, or you will have to donate it to the community, or you will have to sell it before the 6 days. So you get those kind of options in sales, and then when you look at those options, you are the leader who makes that decision as to which one you will take. It depends on your mindset, your quality, your sense of leadership. If you want to make money for your boss, then you will take the option of selling it within 6 days to some company which will buy it even at half price. Okay? If you are a more compassionate based person, you will donate it to the community and you don't care whether 6 days are passed or not. You know? So there are different ways in which you will take that leadership onwards. You know, it depends on you. Let's seek first to understand, then to be understood. This is a very important part of it, and we have to learn how to listen, as we were told before. Listen, first learn to understand people before what I'm telling you, you please do it. You know, that kind of attitude. So synergize, come together. How do we do this all together? That's creative cooperation. And then sharpen the saw is really your own self. How do you change yourself? How do you know now it is time to change? It is time to move to a different direction. How come I'm just in my own bubble now? How do I go out of that bubble? That is what is important. So we go from, and I'll discuss this with you a little. Let us say what is a habit. How do we make habits? We brush our teeth in the morning every day, that's a habit. We have bath, that's a habit. But that is an internalized principle. Because it's internal. We are doing it ourselves, we know it in our brains, in our hearts, so the habit is internal. But there are patterns of behavior, and we do those habits because we have knowledge about that. What to do. Why to do it. We know we have to do it, we have the knowledge of a toothpaste, we have knowledge of a brush, we know what to do and why to do it. We also want to do it, we desire to do it also. And we have the skills to do it. Okay? So when you form a habit, when you're a leader, you have to form habits. You have to have some personal habits that are so integral part of your pattern of life that you will not differ. For example, Mahatma Gandhi also, non-violence, he took it on. He did the salt, he made it like a habit. The chakra, he made it a habit. I'm going to do it every morning when I get up. So by looking at him, his wife started doing, then the people in the ashram started doing. So he made it a habit to do certain things, to set examples, to do this. And that is why he became a leader who could not be broken, was not a person who could be shaken by any viewpoint. He was international, the pattern of behavior made him what he is today. So habit, forming a habit is very, very, very important. And that is why I put the idea of habit, because we know what is a habit, and yet we don't know. We never thought of the word habit. But when we think of the word habit, then we know that we are having these habits because we have the knowledge, because we know how to do it, why we are doing it, because we want to do it, and how to do it. For example, a nice hot cup of tea. Raju bhai always loves that nice hot cup of tea. And he wants it in a particular way. His wife said, oh, he doesn't, his morning is not good if you don't give him that cup of tea. It's a habit. Just having that cup of tea, that cup of coffee, that brushing, that washing, all those are internal physical habits. Something that you love to do. So similarly, when you want to be a leader, you've got to create some habits. You have to change a little bit from what you're doing now to something better, something different. So, oh, this goes back. Okay. Now, how do we create these habits? First, we are children. As a child, we are ignorant. Then we start educating ourselves in schools, and the process starts. Very slowly, we learn things and all that. Then we gain knowledge. We gain knowledge inside. When we are in school, our teacher tells us this, we know. Once we know, then we exhibit that outside. Okay, so knowledge learning or knowledge gathering is something we get internal, then we do it outside. But then we develop a character once we do that. And what was America, how was America founded? Let us come to that. America was founded by Benjamin Franklin, and it was the ethics was, the foundation of success was integrity, humanity, fidelity, that is faithfulness, temperance, courage, justice, patience, industry, simplicity, modesty, and honesty. The principles of effective living. This is what America was founded on by Benjamin Franklin. He kept on insisting on people being honest. He kept on insisting that people should have patience. They should be industrious, hard work. You see movies of the West and you see old movies, you'll see that you know how the West was won and things like that. But Benjamin Franklin was one president who made it a point that these good characteristics can be done. But when the war came, when the world wars came, after that there was a shift in the paradigm. There was a shift and there was a development of personality. Now what we are worried about? We are worried about personality. How is our personality? We don't talk about how is our character. We talk about how is our personality, you know. So the ethics changed from development of character to development of personality. So we want public image now. We are more worried about what people think about us. The attitudes, the behaviors, the skills and techniques, all of that we are looking at the development of personality. So what are we basing our life now on? We are basing our life on human and public relations. Okay? We are basing our life on the technique and we say, oh, we must have a positive mental attitude. We talk about all that. Okay? We talk about having a positive mental attitude. This is your attitude determines your altitude. That means what status you are depends on your attitude, which is very true. Yes, it is true that attitude is a very important thing. And smiling wins more friends than frowning. That is also true. You know, smiling does win more. But we want quick fixes. Let's fix this quickly and let's forget about it. Okay? Now, so our leadership roles or the mindsets of the people has changed a little bit from that strong character, honesty, integrity, justice, this, that and all. We have especially in India, I find it, oh, there's a chalta hai attitude. Everything is chalta hai, you know. So it's a quick fix. everything is a quick fix, you know. So we are going into quick fix and we are looking at power, you know, techniques of manipulation, deception has taken, scams are coming up. You can see in the world what's happening, you know, if you look at it, this is what is happening. And power look and intimidate, and some people give you the power look. Power look is what, you know, showing you, father tells the son, don't do this. I told you not to do it. That's it. That's called a power look. You know, you are forcing your power on children, on your colleagues, on people, and by that you're building and intimidating people, okay? And aggressiveness that you call in people, that comes in. So what that is search your own heart with all diligence, for out of it flows the issues of life. So today I want you to look inside yourself. I'm going to set the tone of looking inside yourself. So it makes no difference how good your intentions are. If there is little or no trust, there is no foundation for permanent success. There's also an element of trust that we have to exhibit. We cannot doubt everybody every time. Okay? Now, you have a piece of paper in front of you which has got 1 to 12 questions. So now I'm going to take you through. Do you have that all? All of you have it? You have a sheet of paper with you which says 1 to 12?
Yes.
I'm going to give you a test.
What? 10 years.
And this is a psychological test. And this test is really very full of fun. And it is really something that nobody has given you for a long time. It is because, just like Charlie just now said, what? I don't take tests anymore. And exactly, that is exactly the point. You don't take tests anymore, but you need to take tests sometimes. Sometimes you need to be pulled up. Sometimes you need to be shaken up. Sometimes you need to be told there's something inside you you have forgotten about, you know. So this test should not be taken like I am a teacher and testing you, but it is your own benefit. It is for your own self, and especially the young ones, young students who are here today. You will enjoy this more, I'm sure, but the old ones are a little intimidated already. They think that, oh, we don't have to take it. But this is fun. Okay, now, shut your eyes for a moment. And you have this piece of paper. Before I take this test for you, in this piece, on this piece of paper, you don't have to write long sentences or anything. Just one word form, and it's from 1 to 12, so there are 12 questions. And then we'll analyze those 12 questions in the end, so you will know your style. Okay. So the first, you close your eyes and imagine you are in a jungle, a beautiful forest. You are on a path that winds its way through the trees. So the question first thing is, look at the trees. Are they organized in a pattern, or are they just spread around without any patterns, just in a chaotic form? So just write on your answer for question 1.
If our eyes are closed, how can we see any trees?
Pardon?
Imagine you're in the forest.
You are imagining you are in the forest now.
Close your eyes.
Yeah, you close your eyes and imagine, and then open your eyes and write. You either write or you think that you are the trees are organized or the trees are not organized, they are chaotic. So you can either choose the word organized or the word chaotic, whichever you like. Okay? Finished? Question 2. Do you think it is nighttime or daytime in the forest?
What zone you live in?
No, I'm not talking about zones, I'm just talking about night or day. So you choose either the word night or day. Have everybody else has paper? Some of you are not? Okay. Everybody has paper? Do you need some paper there? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I want all of you to take it, please, so that you have... it's fun, it's just something that you will discover about your own self after some time. You don't have to be frightened, there's no marks and there's no grading to this. But
There's no your multiple choice.
it's multiple choice. You see what your children have to go through. Yeah, Nick, you also should take it.
I'm trying to capture. Okay.
Okay, so the first question you would either write organized or chaotic. The second one you choose night or day. Third is the path wide, narrow, well traveled, or hardly seen? It gets a little difficult as questions go by, but is the path wide? So either you choose wide or narrow or well traveled or hardly seen.
Only one word, right? Only one.
Yeah, one of those four. Don't take all four, please. Question, oh, why has it gone to 6?
It's multiple choice.
Oh, I seem to miss the 4 somewhere.
Let's go to the 10.
Apparently we met a bear on the way.
Okay, no, there's something went wrong in the, okay.
Because we are in jungle.
Okay, I'll give you the fourth question, I can't find it here. Okay. So when you're walking on this path, you have chosen your path, you have chosen it and you're walking into this forest, you continue to walk on the path when you suddenly see a key lying on the ground. Now the question 4 is, what does the key look like? Old, new, big, small?
Number 4.
One of them.
Yeah, old, new, big, small. And in the same question 4 it is, what do you think it unlocks? That key belongs to what? A house or a door, or what does you think it unlocks? The 4th question only, same line you write it. Yeah. Now the 5th question, do you pick up the key or leave it there? So you either say pick up or leave. Okay? You pick up the key or you leave it there. Yeah, this is the question 6, I'm doing question 5.
Yeah, we're on 5 right now.
Question 5, do you pick up the key or leave it there?
6, become.
No, it's 5.
5.
4 had A and B.
4 had A.
4 has 2 answers. I'll repeat question 4. What does the key look like? Old, new, big or small? Continuation of that, what do you think it unlocks? Okay, does it unlock a chest, a house, whatever, a room, whatever, okay? And question 5 is, do you pick up the key or leave it there? That's question 5. Everybody got it? Yes. Okay. Now you continue on your walk, on your path in the forest, and then suddenly you see a bear. A bear comes suddenly out of the forest and it comes towards you. So the question is the bear menacing, or friendly? Does it scare you? So now you answer that. Do you think the bear is something you get frightened to see? Or it's okay to see a bear, that's all right. Or does it scare you? Do you feel frightened about it? Question 7 is, how big is the bear in your mind, in your imagination? Is it a big bear, 6 foot above, very big, or medium, your height? Just imagine whatever it is, how big it is, big, medium or high. Then suddenly the bear vanishes into the woods and you continue on your path and suddenly you see an urn. You know what an urn is, like a vessel-like thing. And standing in the middle of the path, there is an urn. And so you describe the urn to me. What is it made of? Earthen urn, copper, or gold? What kind of urn do you think you like? Oh, you all want the gold, huh? Okay, earthen, copper, or gold? Question 9 is that as you approach the urn, is there something inside it? Now your curiosity is coming. Is it something inside the urn? What is it? Money? Ashes? Water? Choose. Choose the word and write, whichever you feel like it. Okay? Then you pass. Am I too fast or? Okay. You pass the urn and the path continues for a few moments, ending at a house. Okay? Oh, now question. See, this is what happens.
Slide swap.
5, 4, now what happens?
No, 4 and 5 are
Go back one.
so you're going fast.
Yeah. There's a house, but there is 11 and 12. Where's 11 and 12?
It's one slide after that one. After 4 and 5.
You're leaving like this.
Okay, yeah. From inside the house,
We didn't do the previous one.
no, you find a house.
We haven't done that.
Go back one.
Question
Go back
10.
one.
How small or big or small?
Yeah, the house that you see,
Small or big?
big or small.
Okay.
Okay. You put big or small. And from inside the house, you hear a man raving. He sounds deranged, that is like crazy, and he keeps screaming for you to unlock the door and let him out. He sounds quite insane, but he pleads with you to open the door. What will you do? Will you open the door or walk away?
Open.
Okay. Do you open the door for this man? Once you do that, you open the door or you walk away. Alright. So then what happens? Suddenly everything gets blank. Everything is blank and there's a white light all around you. You can't see anything and it's very, this thing. You can't find a house, you can't see the man, you can't see anything. It's all white. So you're no longer in the path, you're no longer anywhere you think. Everything is white around you and featureless. You don't know where you are. If you walk, nothing changes. If you shout, no one hears. Everything is the same, no matter what you do or how long you do it. Okay? This is a scenario that you have to understand. So what do? Do you give up and stay in the same place? Do you continue exploring and trying to find your way out? Although nothing succeeds, how long do you keep trying if there are no results and nothing changes? Okay? This is an answer you have to give to yourself. You want to keep trying or you will stay in the same place. You try to get out even though there is no result. I mean, if you try to push that light away and there is no result, you still keep trying, or you will stand and wait till the light goes away. You have to make that decision. Right? So congratulations, you finished your psychological test right now. And let's see how you have done. Okay? Now remember all the things that we have said in the test. Now it was easy, wasn't it, Charlie?
Oh, very easy.
It wasn't that difficult. Again, this happens.
Other way.
Okay, here are your answers. Now, the forest represents your inner world. You're connected to both your past as a child and to the present as an adult. Okay? That is the forest around you, your childhood high road and everything. If the trees were organized, then so are you. If you were organized, if you found the trees organized, so are you. You crave order and logic in yourself, even if you don't always get it. But inside yourself, you want everything to be in order. You know, that is how you are. Okay? Then, what is the development in leadership? See, you crave plans to see a clear vision. But you can become very stubborn and dogmatic on that. So you have to be very, very careful. Those who are really very, sort of box kind of person who draw lines and this has to be done like that, there is the weakness part of it is they become very stubborn. So when you are a project manager or you are a leader, you can have plans, but you don't have to become dogmatic. You don't have to be stubborn. You have to remember to be careful. Okay? Then a haphazard pattern of trees would indicate that these things are less important to you and you are more concerned with the essence of things. You're more concerned about what is the real meaning of life in the whole thing. And so that's how you represent yourself. So the development in leadership is that you're very artistic, you're very visionary, and you need to be articulate, so your little change has to be taken place there. It doesn't matter which path you take, but you need to slightly have that. This is good, this light is good. Now, so the first habit which we had done, you remember the habits, 7 habits? So the first was the principles of personal vision. So these 3 decide on your personal vision, okay? As the forest also represents your childhood, the choice between light and dark may indicate how you perceive that period in your life, either in a negative or a positive light. Some people's childhoods have been bad, some people's childhoods have been very good. So this positive light and negative. It may also indicate your present situation of optimism versus pessimism. A sunlit forest may indicate you are in a positive place or you see your childhood in a positive light. Darkness may mean you currently experience a lot of fear, a view of your childhood in a darker, more frightening way. So you look at your answers and you will know whether you put dark or light or whatever it is. So what is the development in leadership? That it started, when you see light in the forest, it started within childhood. That means during childhood there was some influence, some parental influence, something was there that made that path come for your leadership. It's the development of leadership. Through parents, through grandparents, through an environment, through education, or sometimes it is a sudden death in the family. Sometimes somebody was very rude to you and it suddenly started that vision that no, I'm not going to do this, I'm going to do that. So some traumatic experience also can make your child, in your childhood or in your life, can make you suddenly go into the principles of personal vision and personal leadership. Remember, it is personal. Still it is personal. You are on the personal side. And question 3 was simply that a wide path, a clear path shows that you're doing where you're going. You have plans and they are clear to you. But if your path is not very clear to you, you have to develop that narrow path will show that you still have to develop it for future. And you are frightened of it. You are a little frightened. That's why your path is not so clear. Your path is still hazy. It's a little crisscross or wavering, So development in leadership, you need to change your paradigm. Sometimes you need to change your job. Because you may not like your job. Right now you are right in the middle of something and you may not. So do the things you can do. Okay, do the things you can do. And that is also a principle of personal leadership. So the first habit is being proactive. The first habit was being proactive. And proactive means that we have 2 circles. One circle is a circle of concern. You might have seen in the job, many people, they blame. The boss doesn't know anything. Are you telling him? And he doesn't do it. So there is a blame situation that people take. That is a circle of concern. When you move from the circle of concern to the circle of influence, you say, what can I do? Even if he doesn't listen, but what can I do? It doesn't matter if he doesn't listen, I can still do this. That is the point of influence. So you move in personal leadership from the point of concern to the point of this thing. Am I too far? More? How many minutes? Only 2 minutes. I thought too much to say. Okay, let's go on. Okay, again it came to 11. This seems to be. Okay. Now the key indicates also how old the dream of yours is. If it is an old kind of a key that you imagined, then it is something from your childhood, something from that is there. And that is the principle of personal management. How do you manage yourself? Remember, we get paper that things to do. We write 1, 2, 3, 4. How we write them down? Those are personal management. So in your life, in the priority of your life, you should be able to know which key you want to use. So in that key, you must know your personal management comes. The principle of leadership is also a personal management. Your desires, your dreams, your family work, putting things first. What things to put first? That's personal management. So in leadership, you must know what things to put first. Don't sacrifice your family every time for work. Okay, you must know what to sacrifice and what not to sacrifice. Then your principal or person is, I'll go fast because they are in, oh shoot. Okay, the bear. The bear is showing you that the more menacing the bear, the more worried you are. So suppose if you felt that the bear was very huge and very menacing, then you are more worried. So the development of leadership requires restructuring. You have to rethink where you are, what you are doing. You have to think outside the box. You have to do some team playing, some empathy, changing to a positive attitude. And the fourth one is win-win principle of interpersonal leadership. That's the one that you're dealing with the bear. Okay, where it's, why is it interpersonal? Because the bear comes in front of you. First you are alone in the jungle. Then you see a key. Then you see a bear, right? So you are now going into interpersonal leadership. You're meeting people. You're meeting animals. You're meeting challenges. Bear actually means challenges. What are the challenges that you are facing? So when you're walking in the woods, so you revisit that. Okay, the size of the bear also says what problems you have. Then you come across an urn, and the urn represents your past family members. If it is if it is copper, represents family and siblings, and gold indicates that you wish to inherit your ancestral wealth, or you wish to add to it. You wish to add to it. So that is why gold comes there. And the ninth question it says here is, what does the urn represent? Let us go to the principles. You seek first to understand, then to be understood. Then comes the house. The house represents an unknown place. It's a big fancy house. It's bigger your dreams. If it's a big house you chose, so the house is a bigger dreams. And then you have the shrieking madman in that, in the trust of other human beings. If you let him open the door, you will trust people. If you don't open the door, you don't trust people. Okay, so that is a principle of creative cooperation. And the white light there in the situation is that it's like death. White actually there tells you that everything is blank, everything is dead. But there's a new situation to be analyzed. And that means you have to sharpen the saw. The seventh principle is to make yourself again another person. And that's what Gandhiji did, that's what Mandela did, that's what all these leaders did. Every time you look at their life, you see, look at Robert Kennedy, when Russia was putting Sputnik into the atmosphere and sending men orbiting around the earth. Kennedy found out that NASA was failing in all its experiments because it didn't have funds. So he put in so much effort to NASA that we were the first persons to send the man to the moon. You see, so he reinvented himself. Every leader you find will again reinvent themselves. And, no, I don't know why I do this wrong. I want you to see this. See, the first thing is your own dependence. You're depending on a private victory when you are being proactive. When you are going and thinking about yourself alone and not going from and blaming others instead of yourself and changing yourself. So you be proactive. You must begin with the end in mind. It's still your private victory. And putting first things first is still your private victory. These are things you do and you're still dependent on them. Independence comes when you are thinking win-win. Then you become a really independent kind of person. You seek first to understand somebody, listen to somebody, then to be understood. And then you synergize, you have started to gain independence. And public victory which a leader gets, a leader takes on public victory because it is with the public, he becomes a leader. It's more interdependence. When you depend on others and others depend on you, and then you sharpen the saw, means you change yourself. You sharpen yourself. You make yourself better. You may change yourself to the vision that you have, you know. That is very important. I know I don't have time and he's looking at me. I have these
I'm going to send the slides to each and every one of you once we're done with the conference. All the, slides will be sent to you.
I have one question only to, when you tell me from the audience, what are you looking at?
Lady.
Looking at the woman? What is the age of the woman?
Young.
In
Put your hand up.
her 40s.
She's in her 40s? And you all agree that, yeah?
An old lady too.
Huh?
Now you can
You're saying 60, she's at 40? Anybody else?
70.
How many of you, put your hand up, how many of you can see a young lady? Okay, most of you like young
I think
people.
young.
And how many of you can see an old lady?
see both.
Okay, that means this house has been divided into two opinions. One opinion is that many of you can see young and some of you can see old. Now,
There's a third one, which can say both.
pardon?
I can see both,
You can see both? Yeah, you got a good vision. But my point is, the main important thing is, this is how it happens in workplace and everywhere. Some people have this opinion, some people have that opinion. The most important thing is that she's a woman. The essence of the thing is that she's a woman. It doesn't matter young or old, but you must learn to respect the other, the difference of opinion that the others have. Then only you are able to make yourself a better person. So you can see the young and the old in this picture, and I will leave you, I have a lot of sayings here which give you a lot of things, and I like the second one the best. That today I asked my mentor, a very successful businessman in his 70s, what his top 3 tips are for success. He smiled and said, read something no one else is reading, think something no one else is thinking, and do something no one else is doing. That is the way.
Thank you, Babuji. Now we will call upon Raj Balaji to come and introduce our next speaker.